I was with my ex for a while, but it ended, and I learned that she had gotten pregnant with our daughter. She was unwilling to co-parent, so to see my daughter, we needed to have it out in court. I won equal custody, but within a year of that, she was hardly ever around. Then she became pregnant, and her son was born with no father in the picture. She was not stable and didn't give a crap about him at all. It got to the point where she was willing to drop him off with someone else, anyone else, and leave him. I told her I would raise him, but she decided I should pay to get him. This became another court battle. Ultimately, she was too unstable to keep him, so he became my son, and I adopted him very soon after. I raised my kids alone, and I've done my best to give them a good life. They didn't see or hear from their mom for years. Now both are in their teens, and she's back with 2 more children. She expected me to take in her other 2 kids, but I said no. I told her I was not going to start raising and being responsible for all the children she had. She didn't ask about my kids at all. She was just focused on the younger 2. She doesn't even want the same arrangement with them. She wants to raise them, but for me to act as a father and pay for them like they're mine. Now she's started to show up with her kids and push them on me. They have called me dad every time they see me and asked why I don't want them. I'm not sure how old they are. Both are younger than 8. I told my ex to stop using her kids that way and that I would not change my mind. She didn't listen. The last time she showed up with them was at my son's sport game. Her kids came to sit by me and started calling me dad and saying they loved me. I decided that it had gone on too long and took them aside and told them I was not their dad and that their mom was mistaken and that I was sorry that they'd been led to believe something that wasn't true. They got upset, and my ex raged at me and told me it was not my place. She accused me of saying they weren't good enough since I stepped up and raised my son when he wasn't mine, and her younger kids shouldn't be different. Am I the idiot? Not your place? Not your place? What the heck? Either you're their father and therefore get an equal say in what the children are told and equal responsibility for the consequences, or you're not their father and therefore have no obligation to play along with her manipulative game. Not the idiot. And you need to get a restraining order against her and call CPS immediately. She's messing with their heads mentally and coaching them on what to say to you, as well as making them believe you, the father, don't want them. Get her toxic self away from you and your children and call whoever you need to so those babies can get some help. How do people live like this? This person is just popping out babies and dropping them off like she bought a pizza. I'm sorry you've been put in this position. Strangely, their mom isn't pursuing their actual father to be a dad to them, but I suspect that they're coming to you because you stepped up before, which is commendable, and your 2 children are so fortunate to have you. You must seem like an easy target to her. I hope she realizes that this behavior will traumatize her kids, and I hope you get some peace soon. She probably isn't doing this to her younger children's fathers because I'm betting their birth fathers are not good daddy material like OP is. They were probably fun party guys, and maybe she doesn't even know who their fathers are. But hey, OP did it before, so he can do it again. What a terrible mother and person she is. She's trying to get you attached enough to agree to what she wants. I'm sorry, OP, that she put you in this position. My sister had just given birth about a month and a half ago, and I went over to help her with the baby and house chores since her husband couldn't take a leave from work. The problem is that my sister is an extremely outgoing person and loves going to places and trying out new things. On the other hand, I'm burnt out, and all I'm thinking about for an outing is how I'll be carrying the stroller across the long metro stairs, the baby needing a diaper change, and us running to the nearest toilet, the heavy traffic, the loud noises. In short, I see it as a stress and a chore, not something I do out of enjoyment. For several days now, I've been holed up in my room and refusing to go out with her while she goes alone. Finally today, she told me we would just go to the nearest park and that it's unhealthy for me to stay cooped up in the house all the time. I declined again, and she became upset and said she wasn't in the mood to go out anymore. She asked why I was even over if all I wanted to do was stay home, that she was depressed and I was making her feel worse. I told her she could always go by herself and leave the baby with me, but she said that defeats the point of having company. She grumbled about no one caring about her and went into their bedroom and shut the door. I thought maybe I should have just sucked it up and gone with her, but I don't know why she insists on me going out too when I say I'm exhausted. I don't know. Am I the idiot? Edit. I'm helping out with things she has to exert physical effort to do, like cleaning the bathroom, mopping the floors, doing laundry, cooking, and going with her to doctor's appointments. I work freelance, and it hasn't been easy to do this. I'm seeing a therapist for major depressive disorder. I quit my job and became a freelancer to have the flexibility I need to manage my illness. I wanted to contribute whatever I could, but it's not helping, as I realize now. Not the idiot. You're cleaning, cooking, and helping care for the baby while struggling with your mental health? Your sister sounds like an ungrateful brat. Most parents would kill to have someone take some of that work off their plate, not complain that you won't be their unpaid nanny during social excursions too. I'd go back home and dial your help down to cleaning and delivering meals once or twice a week. Her husband or someone else can step up for the rest. Going to the park shouldn't really be a chore. Your sister just had a baby. It's wonderful that you want to help her with the baby, but most people forget that a new mother needs more help than just with the chores and the baby. They need human interaction. I'm a first-time mom myself, and I'm going stir-crazy in my house alone with the baby, and I'm not an outdoorsy, outgoing person. Your sister needs to get out and do something to feel like herself again, and not just be a mother. When you're gone, she'll probably not be able to go out by herself with the baby easily. You are the idiot. This isn't about you, and if you were going to make it about you, you shouldn't have offered your help. OP, she's telling you clearly that the help she needs right now is having someone go with her and get her out of the house. So yeah, maybe it's a chore. Just add it to the list with the cooking and cleaning and muster up the strength for one outing a day. Or maybe it's time to ask yourself what you're really contributing by sticking around. Honestly, just go home. You're clearly miserable, and that doesn't help anyone. Holy crap, there are a lot of people on this thread who seem to have zero understanding of an introvert's need for solitude to recharge, and the idea that not everything is black and white, all or nothing. Wow, people! I feel bad for all the introverted family members or people in your lives who must tolerate your, if you don't have the energy to just do everything you're asked, just get out attitude. OP is under no obligation to be there in the first place. She's helping in whatever capacity she's able, and anything asked of her beyond that is just entitlement. I married my husband 4 years ago, and I've known him for years. He has an older sister who does not like me. My crime? Her husband got a little too flirty with me when my husband introduced us all, and he had to be told to back off by my husband and me. Of course, I was the witch trying to steal her man. The fact I never did anything to encourage it and actively told him to stop and walked away wasn't enough. It wasn't an isolated thing with him, but my husband intervened to ensure he knew we meant business. She has 3 kids with her husband. Ever since the day we met, she's kept me at arm's length with her kids, and she's rude, very rude. She also has treated me in very childish ways, but it's whatever. I won't force myself into a place that I'm not wanted. I'm kind to the kids, but she never wants me to spend time with them or talk to them too much. But now she's jealous because my sister's children are close to me, and my husband and I spoil them since I have fertility issues and might never get to be a mom. She called my husband out first, and he told her that the kids were welcome, but he wasn't going to spend the money we earned together and tell me I needed to stay home or not speak to her kids while they were with him and us. She then confronted me and accused me of treating her children badly. I told her she couldn't mistreat me, keep me out of her kids' lives, and expect them to benefit from me being their aunt. I told her I would love to spoil her kids too, but if I'm not welcome, then I can't. She said I was taking our issues out on her kids. I may have said things wrong here, but am I the idiot? Not the idiot. So she wants your money for her kids, but doesn't want you around, is rude, and actively works against her kids having a relationship with you. She's an entitled idiot, and she only has herself to blame. Brother-in-law has to wear some of that blame too. I don't actually think the brother-in-law is to blame for the way the sister-in-law is treating OP. Sister-in-law chose to blame OP and take out her frustration on OP instead of placing the blame where it's due. For the record, brother-in-law is awful, and what he did was awful. However, sister-in-law is equally awful for making OP the scapegoat. And OP isn't taking their issues out on her kids. She isn't allowed to see them, speak to them, etc. How is she supposed to treat sister-in-law's kids better? Mail them presents every month? Or by sending them a gift card for dinner with a note saying, "Hi nibblings, I'd love to have dinner with y'all at gift card place, but I'm not allowed to take y'all out, so here you go." Sister-in-law is just an unhappy person, looking to make others unhappy with needless drama. She needs to focus on keeping her husband in line rather than look at who you're spending time with. Don't even think twice. People like this are toxic. Hope her kids are not picking up her toxic behavior. It's totally your and your husband's choice on how you deal with her. Don't feel bad about people like this who guilt trip you and play mind games. She's a crab in a bucket, and the best response is to pay no mind and let her scream to no audience. Over a decade ago, my sister gave up custody of her 3 kids to their father. She had issues, couldn't care less about the children at that point in her life, and wanted no responsibility to them whatsoever. So when her ex divorced her, she willingly signed away all parental rights and spiraled out of control. 3 years ago, she hit rock bottom, got her life together, remarried, and had a child. Since then, she's been trying her hardest to reconnect with her other children with no success at all. None of them want anything to do with her. They've all blocked her on all communication avenues and made it very clear that she's not welcome in their lives. The thing my family and sister don't know is that I've been in their lives for a little over 5 years. One of them reached out to me, wanting to reconnect with someone they remembered being kind to them from their mom's side of the family, and from there I've become what I hope is a good uncle to them. I'm very friendly with my ex-brother-in-law, and I'll go and visit them at least twice a year for a week or two. At their request, I've kept this secret from my family, as many of them are just as unstable as my sister is, unfortunately. Somehow my sister learned of this recently, and it all has broken loose. My family has turned against me, declaring me evil and the biggest idiot on the planet for not playing mediator and leaking information to them about the state of my sister's kids. My sister now believes I've been poisoning the well and ruining her chances at reconnecting with her kids. On the one hand, this was their wish. They didn't want my sister to know anything about them. On the other, I can see how much my sister hurts by the current situation. She loves them with all her heart and wants to make things right. So I've reached a moral dilemma. Even with what's going on, I have no plans to try and get my sister into contact with her disowned children. I'm going to respect their wishes until they decide otherwise. I will not attempt to convince them that she's changed, as I feel that's not my battle to wage. Not the idiot. Your family wants someone to blame because they can't face the reality that the relationship between your sister and her kids was irrevocably ruptured because of what she did, and there's no way she can get that back. Tell your family that the choice was never between you and your sister. It was between you and the kids' lives, and nobody from their mother's side of the family in their lives. If these relatives of yours weren't so foolish, they would be grateful that you'd been in the position to make sure the kids were doing okay. Your sister and your family seem to focus on what your sister wants instead of what the kids need and deserve. Her feelings aren't the priority. Also, out of everyone in your family, those kids only reached out to you, and that breaks your heart. That you can't understand how it doesn't break theirs is exactly why they don't deserve those kids. Those kids didn't remember loving grandparents, cousins, or uncles and aunties. Only one person, you. So you aren't going to take advice from them because they never did right by those kids and still aren't. My mother recently passed away. I, female 30s, was very close to her, and her death hit me hard emotionally. My brother and I inherited equal shares of her life savings. Because I was her only female child, my mother left all of her jewelry to me. She had a fairly large collection to take good care of them. When I was a teenager, lots of girls at my school would bring family jewelry to school, and it would be stolen. My brother said that I'm being unfair to my nieces, and that if I was going to give jewelry to the eldest, all of them should receive jewelry straight away, or they'll feel left out. He said I'm not the one who will have to deal with the younger two being sad. He suggested I just gift them all of the jewelry now. This is not reasonable. Kids at different ages get treated differently in certain situations, because that's what's appropriate. He thinks I'm being harsh on the younger two and selfish. So would it make me the jerk to just gift my eldest niece some of the jewelry, leaving out the younger two against my brother's wishes? There isn't much my brother could do about it if I did. My eldest niece is financially independent and lives with her fiancé. So am I the idiot? Edit to add, for those asking why I don't wait until the youngest is 18, I want to gift my niece some of the jewelry before she gets married next year. There's a matching set with earrings and a necklace, which she's very fond of, and I think it would mean a lot to her if she got to wear them at her wedding. Not the idiot. I would treat it almost like a trust. Put aside the other girl's jewelry and follow up with your mother's wishes. The nieces are old enough to understand that they will get it in the future. P.S. Sorry for your loss and your brother compounding the stress. Please consider that he may be upset about the whole situation still as well. She left it to you. Maybe this is why. Besides you inheriting the jewelry and not your brother and them, therefore being legally yours, it's not an uncommon practice to gift them once the children are mature enough. You've also raised a very legit concern, the jewels being stolen in school because your nieces chose to wear them there. You are the idiot. He's right. He has 3 daughters, 1 adult, 1 teen, and 1 preteen. If you give this gift from grandma to one, the others will be upset. And like he says, you won't be the one who has to deal with it. He will. I do think you need to respect the parents' wishes here, but as it stands, you're thinking you know better than the parent here. Also, it's very misogynistic that only the women in your family can inherit the jewelry. What if a boy likes to wear jewelry and would like to have it? Does no one else think brother wants to sell the jewelry? Like, he got an equal inheritance, but then she gets this extra valuable collection of jewelry in addition, and he's feeling salty about it. He can't confiscate the jewelry from adult children, but he could take it from minors. Like, this doesn't have to do with the younger girl's feelings at all.